Diencephalon. Here, this is diencephalon. It consists of two parts. Upper part, that is thalamencephalon. Thalamencephalon consists of thalamus. This. Then here, this and this, they are metathalamus. Metathalamus. These structures, epithalamus, thalamus, epithalamus, and metathalamus. That is thalamencephalon. And below of it, hypothalamus. And cavitas of diencephalon, that is third ventricle. Clear? And now, this is thalamus. It has egg shape. Anterior part is narrow, it is anterior tubercle. Posterior part is wider and it has name pulvinar. Both thalamus joined together with the help of white matter. It is interthalamic adhesion. Look here, that is left thalamus, this is right, and between them, this white matter, that is interthalamic adhesion. Okay. Now, it is the superior colliculus of midbrain and inferior colliculus of midbrain. This is thalamus, superior inferior colliculus. And now, from inferior colliculus, brachium, that is branch of inferior colliculus, goes to medial geniculate body, medial corpus geniculatum mediale. And from superior colliculus, brachium of superior colliculus goes to lateral geniculate body, corpus geniculatum laterale. This is medial, and this is lateral geniculate bodies. Okay. Now, here it is. Brachium of inferior colliculus goes to medial geniculate body, and brachium of superior colliculus goes to lateral geniculate body. These two bodies, medial and lateral, they together form metathalamus, behind of thalamus, metathalamus. If you remember, superior colliculus, that is subcortical which center? Superior colliculus. Subcortical visual center, and inferior colliculus, subcortical auditory center. That is why medial geniculate body is the same, subcortical auditory center, and lateral geniculate body, subcortical visual center. Put here V, that is visual, and here it is A, auditory. And posterior nuclei of thalamus, this posterior nucleus is the same, subcortical visual center, visual. And superior colliculus, visual. Here, auditory. Clear? Now, epithalamus. You already said that it is what? What is it in epithalamus?
Pituitary gland.
Not pituitary. That is
Pineal
pineal
gland. Okay.
Pituitary in hypothalamus. Now, epithalamus. Epithalamus. No, first of all, that is thalamus. It has medial surface, medial surface here. This is dorsal surface, lateral and inferior surface. And now, on the border between medial and superior border, here we have stria medullaris, medullary fibers, stria medullaris thalami, and these fibers make triangle. This is trigonum habenule, here and here, trigonum habenule. And from this triangle, habenule, that is white matter, goes to pineal gland. Pineal gland, another name of pineal gland, that is epiphysis.
Epiphysis.
That is habenula. And right and left habenula join together with the help of commissura habenularum. And now, all of these structures, triangle, trigonum habenula, commissura habenularum, and pineal gland, they are epithalamus. And you already know that pineal gland, that is endocrine gland, and we discussed it in previous semester. Melatonin is produced, serotonin, antigonadotropic hormone, they produce in epiphysis. Some words about nucleus of thalamus. I already said that posterior nucleus in pulvinar, that is subcortical visual center.
Yeah.
Anterior nucleus of thalamus, that is olfactory center. Lateral nuclei subdivides into dorsolateral, ventrolateral, but in general lateral nuclei, that is place where finish lemniscus medialis and lemniscus spinalis. If you remember lemniscus medialis, that is continuation of tractus bulbothalamicus,
Yeah.
it's conduct conscious, proprioceptive sensitivity and feeling of stereognosis.
Yes.
And lemniscus spinalis is conduct feeling of touch, temperature, and pain. That is why all types of sensitivity from human body and from extremity, that is touch, temperature, pain, and proprioceptive sensitivity, all of them present in lateral nucleus of thalamus.
Okay.
Medial nucleus of thalamus, that is extrapyramidal system, and central nuclei, it is connection with vestibular nuclei in pons, with vestibular nuclei, and with reticular formation, that is central nucleus of thalamus. And last, hypothalamus and third ventricle. Hypothalamus, that is below of thalamus. Hypothalamus subdivides into two, anterior part or visual and posterior part or olfactory. Anterior part of hypothalamus. This is optic nerve, that is second cranial nerve.
Yes.
And it makes optic what? Chiasma. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Optic in sphenoid bone was sulcus prechiasmaticus. That is place where optic nerve goes to opposite side. Optic chiasma here, and from optic chiasma continues into optic tract, and optic tract goes to lateral geniculate body and goes to superior colliculus of midbrain. That is why optic chiasma, optic tract. Behind of chiasma we have tuber cinereum, that is tuber cinereum, and tuber cinereum gives infundibulum, and infundibulum, that is place which attached to pituitary gland or hypophysis.
Yes.
That is anterior part of hypothalamus, and posterior part mammillary bodies, right and left, and posterior perforated substance, substantia perforata posterior.
Yes.
They are all structures of hypothalamus. And now, some words about third ventricle. Third ventricle, that is space between right and left thalamus here.
Yeah.
That is why medial surface of thalamus, medial surface, this surface, that is lateral wall of the third ventricle, clear? That is 2 walls, total number 6 walls it has. Lateral walls, that is thalamus, right and left. Anterior wall, this is fornix, and fornix continues into columnar fornices, which finish in mammillary body. And columnar fornices, this and this. Between them we have commissura cerebri anterior commissura, and lamina terminalis, this place, that is lamina terminalis. All of them on anterior wall, and here we can see opening space between columnar fornices and thalamus. This opening and this one. These two openings, that is communication between lateral ventricle in hemisphere with third ventricle in diencephalon. Clear?
Okay.
Look here, this is third ventricle, and now you can see here lateral ventricle. And on anterior wall we have opening, foramen interventricularia. That is communication between third and lateral ventricle.
ventricles.
Interventricular foramen interventricularia. It is paired here and here. Now, posterior wall, what is posteriorly? Habenula, commissura habenularum, and below of commissura habenularum we can see commissura posterior, this is posterior commissura, then this recessus pineale, it goes to pineal gland, recessus pineale, and opening of cerebral aqueduct. And again, commissura habenularum, commissura cerebri posterior, between them recessus pineale, and below of posterior commissura, opening of aqueduct. That is posterior wall of the third ventricle. Superior wall. First of all, telechoroidea. You already know the same tele where?
Produces,
In fourth ventricle.
CSF,
It produces cerebrospinal fluid. Here the same. Telechoroidea. Above of telechoroidea, this is fornix. It is part of telencephalon. And above of fornix, we can see corpus callosum.
Callosum,
That is also part of telencephalon.
Telencephalon.
That is why 3 layers. Internal layer, that is
Telechoroidea,
telechoroidea, above
fornix,
fornix and
corpus callosum.
corpus callosum. And lower inferior wall, that is all structures of hypothalamus. That is inferior wall, all structures of hypothalamus, and here 2 recessus. Recessus opticus in front of optic chiasma, and recessus infundibuli opposite to infundibulum. This is infundibulum. Here it is pituitary gland. And pituitary gland subdivides into 2 lobes, anterior and posterior. Posterior lobe, that is, what is the name of posterior lobe? Hypophysis. Neurohypophysis. And anterior lobe, that is
Adenohypophysis. Neurohypophysis and adenohypophysis. Oh my god.
What is the differences, main differences between them? Posterior lobe, it's not produce hormone, but it's accumulate them.
Store.
Yes.
Storage.
From what? How hormones from hypothalamus, here it is hypothalamus, how from hypothalamus hormones goes to posterior lobe. Through what? This is neurons, if you remember, supraoptic nucleus, paraventricular, and from this nuclei, axons of these neurons, axons, comes to posterior lobe and transport hormones through axons of nervous cells. That is why posterior lobe accumulate hormones which comes here through axons of neurons. Anterior lobe, the same has communication with hypothalamus, but not with the help of axons. Here it is vessels, portal veins comes from hypothalamus to anterior lobe of hypophysis, and they transport releasing hormones, liberins and statins. Liberins increase function of anterior lobe.
Statins inhibit
function. And hormones of anterior lobe, they are
somatotropins, tropic,
thyrotropin, adrenocorticotropin, vasopressin, and oxytocin in posterior lobe. You should repeat these hormones. You already know them, but you repeat this information. Well, that is all. Rhomboid fossa and midbrain you need to draw, all another in theory. You will answer. What we can see in preparate. Wait. Well, first of all, this and this pyramid. This is between pyramid and oliva. This is
sulcus
lateralis. Here should be 12th cranial nerve. Behind of oliva posterolaterales, and should be here 9, 10, and 11th. Sixth nerve abducens. It's between pons and pyramid. This is 6. This is 7th and 8th. All of them behind of pons. Should be 6 here, 7th and 8th. Here absent. 5th nerve.
Junction between the pons.
5th nerve. Nervus trigeminus. That is 3rd nerve and 4th nerve.
Clear now.
And 2nd nerve, optic nerve and optic tract here. Now, this is pons, sulcus basilaris. Which peduncle is here?
Middle peduncle.
Middle peduncle of cerebellum. Now, This is also medial peduncle. Here inferior peduncle. This and this superior peduncle. This is superior medullary velum.
Velum.
Now look here. This is sulcus medianus posterior, and you can see eminentia medialis here and here, and this is colliculus facialis. Colliculus facialis.
Okay.
Now, that is rhomboid fossa. Now, midbrain, I already
Quadrant.
said. Thalamus, and here thalamus. This is trigonum habenula, commissura habenularum, and broken. Here it is pineal gland, should be here. It is broken. In this place should be. Then this is third ventricle. Here lateral ventricle, no, anterior horn of lateral ventricle.
Yeah.
And between them, between third and lateral, should be foramen interventriculare, on anterior wall, foramen interventriculare. That is communication between third and
ventricle
lateral.
and lateral.
Now, that is optic nerve, right and left. Then here optic chiasma, optic tract. Behind of optic chiasma, this is tuber cinereum. This is infundibulum. And infundibulum goes to hypophysis. Here pituitary gland is absent. This and this, they are mammillary bodies,
Mammillary
corpora
bodies.
mammillaria.
Okay.
And behind of mammillary bodies, posterior perforated substance. This is peduncle of the brain, that is part of midbrain, pedunculus cerebri.
Cerebri.
This and this.
That's it.